Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hello, my name is Silver and thanks for clicking on my video. If you have had your eyeballs on YouTube or Facebook or whatever platform it is that you doom scroll on, you probably know by now that within the last few days there was recently a 15-year-old girl found in the trunk of this guy. He is an up-and-coming singer and rapper. The name he goes by is D4VD, which is just a silly way of spelling David. He's been on tour, but his Tesla was towed away and they reported a yucky smell and found this poor girl dismembered in a bag in the frunk of his cards, the front trunk. There's so much to this case. It appears by the way her body was found that she was actually 14 when she more than likely was, I'm gonna say murdered, allegedly. But her birthday then happened, so that's why they're calling her a 15-year-old girl. But anyways, there's a whole backstory to David and this girl. Her name is Celeste. I'm gonna put her picture here. And it's really dark, it's really twisted, and I don't think anybody showed up for Celeste in the way that she had deserved. So hopefully we can be a voice for the voiceless here on my channel. Everything that I say in this video is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. I do not know what I'm talking about. I am just talking. We're going to be taking a look at the singer's potential involvement. We're going to be taking a look at the family and why they maybe knew but weren't doing anything about the fact that she was missing, because she had been missing for a while before she was dead. And we're also going to be taking a look at how she was feeling and what was really going on in the time she was missing, what really happened at the time of her murder, who did it, because technically we don't know who. We can kind of guess who. And just we're going to be getting into so much more. So I'll be consulting the tarot cards and my dowsing rods. So yeah, that's it. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. That super duper helps my channel so much. It pushes me more in the algorithm. And let me know what you think in the comments about this video. All opinions are welcome. I just ask that we be respectful. So not a lot to ask for, but I would love to hear your feedback on my video, on my reading, on what you think of the case. If you have another suggestion of a case I should look at, or anything else cool or important or weird, whatever. I'm open to a lot of things. So yeah, let's get into the reading. Okay, so really quick before we get started, as usual, I'm just gonna cleanse my cards and my space. I always take a minute before I even do the videos to like connect with myself, but I just think it's good to refresh. The first thing that we are going to be getting into is I'm going to take an overall look at the relationship dynamic between David and Celeste, because we obviously know it was there. We just kind of don't know like the full details. So I'm just going to get right into it instead of explaining too much, because I'm sure we all kind of know what's going on. So how I'm going to do this is the very first card I'm going to pull is, okay, this one really wants to come out, is going to represent David. We have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. This next card I'm going to pull is going to represent Celeste. We have the Ten of Cups in the upright. And then this next card is going to be the energy between them. You know what? I'm actually going to do two cards. Okay, so first of all, we have the Three of Wands. So what I was going to say is I'm going to do two cards. This card is going to be the energy that, you know, he was trying to put into the relationship. This next one's going to be the one that she was trying to put into the relationship. We have the Five of Pentacles. Okay. And really quick, the reason I'm calling it a relationship is just like lack of better phrasing. He was definitely a predator and she was a victim. So don't get it twisted. Anyways. Okay. So let's get into this. First of all, with David having the Two of Pentacles here, the Pentacles represent everything in your material life. So time, energy, money, materialistic items, your home, finances, career. Okay. All of that. So with this being in the reverse, first of all, this tells me he was disorganized and that he really was not like, what am I trying to say? Like actually like balanced in what he was doing. He wasn't good with his money. He was kind of like all over the place. So I guess like unprofessional is a word that is coming to my mind. So I feel like he was just kind of like all over the place. And to me, this feels like, yes, in some physical areas in his life, but also I feel like in the mental area of life as well, because sometimes with the Pentacles, I feel like I pick up on like mental health kind of stuff, because that does in a way manifest in like your physical. Does that make sense? Like sometimes people say like if somebody has a really messy house, that kind of represents like how chaotic their brain is. Maybe that's not always true, but that's like what people say. So anyways, that's what I'm getting at. That's my overall like read of him. Having the 10 of Cups for Celeste, this just tells me, and like having the children here, she just had like obviously a child's heart. And so I really felt like she tried to see the good in so many things, and like she was always trying to have fun, laugh, like just do things that genuinely make her happy. So not only was this just like her natural energy that she carried, was just something so joyful and like, you know, really like, even though she was in a dark situation, involved in dark things, like she herself was still like just a pure innocent child, and she obviously had that ripped away from her, but at her core, you know, she still really had this energy. So I feel like she was just a light, and not only that, but she really like hoped to bring in those things into her life as well. Now this is really interesting because having the 3 of Wands come up for David's side of what he was putting into the relationship, this shows like commitment, like long-term planning, commitment, thinking about life, the things that they're going to be doing. And the 5 of Pentacles over here, this is a lack. So I feel like she had a lack mindset about the dynamic that they were in. So I definitely think that she wasn't content and happy like being with him. So to touch on this a little bit more, with this being like what she was putting into the relationship. So I feel like a part of the problems here was like he was so okay, another thing coming up, this energetically imbalanced, like he was so obsessed with her, like he had so much energy just like flowing towards her, about her, and that was just so intense. And he was so like dedicated to envisioning their future that he was in his mind making up together, right? And so I felt like she was not putting in that same kind of energy, and I feel like that definitely caused some of the tension there, because he was just never going to like be sane enough to comprehend that, first of all, he shouldn't be with a minor, disgusting, and he started talking to her when she was 11, so even worse. But anyways, but not only that, but if somebody's clearly like not happy, not wanting to be in the situation, like don't hate them and resent them, but like keep them in the situation. This is just super toxic all around. So anyways, I just feel like she didn't put in that same level, or maybe like, you know, kind of almost like, it almost feels like get like a little attitude with some things, like maybe call him out on something, but play it off as like joking or something like that. Like, I don't know, like I feel like she definitely expressed herself to him about the stuff that like her not really being happy or thinking that something was like wrong. And I don't think that he liked that. I think I feel like he just kind of like played it off. Like I feel like they both were just kind of tiptoeing around the fact that like everything was really messed up. Now, what I want to be looking at a little bit more is right before he went on tour, what was their relationship like? What was their conversations like? The thought processes like? The Magician card. And the reason I'm asking right before he went on tour is because that would technically be, I believe, the last time that he was with her. So just checking. Magician card, the 2 of Cups. What's next? Page of Cups. Okay, so I feel like him, energy, her. Okay, so I feel like she was getting the idea of like, okay, I think I want to do something different. I want to go somewhere else. I don't want to be around him. I don't really want to spend all my time with him. Like, this is her intuition speaking to her and finally starting to realize these things. But because it's in the reverse, it's like she was still it's like she was in the very beginnings of starting to really comprehend that this is not where she wanted to be. And so she's still like in discovery mode, maybe in denial a little bit, but starting to get these ideas and messages from her gut, from maybe even some people around her. I can take a look at that in a minute, but in some form or fashion, she was comprehending that this was not a situation that she should be in. And him having the Magician card over here, I feel like he maybe knew this or felt it in some way, and it almost feels like he was wanting to just take control of the situation and do what he can do to kind of like keep her there, to keep this like connected energy. Like this, the Two of Cups can often represent relationships and love and like also choices too. So I really feel like whatever, like he was trying to almost like manipulate, or what am I trying to say? Like almost like conjure up a situation that would seem favorable for her to want to stay. It almost feels like this was an idea where he was starting to get an inkling of this. And he was like, okay, well, what can I do to make her feel like she needs me, or like she wants to stay here with me? Those kinds of things. It feels like it was like the seed planting of that. Okay, so what about, let's continue on. The Empress, okay. That is like a real motherly card and can sometimes talk about pregnancy, and that is something that I was actually going to be asking about, the potential of that. Next we have the Hierophant. Next we have Judgment. Let's do one more. Queen of Wands. And this one can also touch on like kind of motherly energy too. Okay, so let's get into it really quick. So after, you know, I got this reading here, I was asking to give me more context and kind of like what's happening next. So here we have the Empress. Let's start off with this one. So the Empress is a nurturing card. It's also a motherly card, but it's a card of like care. And it just like, it makes me think of like, imagine if you went to what you would envision the most beautiful place out in nature is. That's just so calming, and it feels like it just totally fills your cup. That kind of relaxation, or that kind of safety, that kind of nurturing energy, that's like what this is. So with this card coming up, I feel like a few things. One, I think he tried to amp up the way that he was treating her, like talking to her, and come off more nurturing, more caring. And I'm not too sure how I'm feeling about the potential of her being pregnant or not right now. That may have been like an idea or something that they thought was happening at some point. We will have to get into that more later, because it feels like that was either something that was talked about, or a thought, or an idea, or a potential, but like I'm not really getting the feeling that she was. So we'll see. Next we have the Hierophant. So this is about like looking up to something. This can sometimes talk about spirituality or religion or learning something. So I almost feel like, okay, yeah, he was definitely trying to manipulate the situation. Okay, he was trying to nurture her, care for her more, and he was in this position where he's like trying to take authority, like, no, I'm here to guide you, I'm here to teach you. The Judgment card, this is like a calling, an awakening, like this is what you're supposed to be doing. I think he was trying to manipulate her into believing that this was her future. This was all that she was meant for. And I do think he talked about having a family with her. So that's why I think that's coming in this like snippet of like pregnancy. Maybe he even like said he was going to do it or wanted to do it or whatever. But having this Three of Wands of that like long-term committed and vision. Now we're having the Empress card. Also the Queen of Wands in reverse over here. I'll get into that in a second. But it feels like he was setting up the scene to be like, no, like listen to me. You can follow me. I'm here to guide you. You know, we're supposed to nurture a life together. We're supposed to nurture each other. Like that's what you were made for. This is what I was made for. This is what we're supposed to be. And with the Queen of Wands in reverse over here, this is telling me like that I don't think, one, this was not authentic and genuine. Like this was all a lie, because the Queen of Wands is also somebody who is super like authentic in herself. Like that's a big part of the energy. And so When this comes up in the reverse here, especially in this context, this is just one showing me that this is inauthentic, but not only that, I definitely feel like she was reluctant to the idea to kind of jump on board, because I always feel like these cards are like semi-similar. So she didn't feel like she aligned with that, but I feel like there's also some type of like suppression of her like actually taking action on that, which I mean makes sense now that we know what we know, but I feel like at this time she was almost like unsure of what to do, like knowing that she did not align with this, but feeling like she couldn't speak out on it or she couldn't take action on it, maybe feeling a little bit stuck. Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna clean these up, and the next thing that I want to take a look at is, okay, now I have not looked at whether he is the person who took her life or not. I will look at that here in a second. But right now, what I would like to take a look at is what went down at the time of her passing away. So this first card I'm going to pull is going to represent her energy around that time. Oh my gosh, we got the 10 of Cups again. Okay, next is going to represent the actual death itself. The 3 of Swords. Oh, that's really like dark and twisted, because the heart, like talking about, first of all, love. So I definitely think love had something to do with this, or intense emotions. And she was dismembered. Could this mean that that's how she actually lost her life, was the act of dismembering? I certainly hope not. I certainly hope not. Or perhaps she had been stabbed or something. Okay, and then next we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. This is like just giving me some more insight on like the why. So first of all, having the 10 of Cups over here, this representing her, 2 things are coming up. 1, that's just her energy. 2, I think she was under the influence. I think there may have been drugs in her system causing this kind of like chill, more like like everything is okay, like kind of content and still making the most out of the horrible situation she was in. Okay. And then with this one, the 3 of Swords, like I was just saying, I definitely feel like there is some passion behind her actual death. And typically in these readings, when I pull a card on for the death itself, like it can be pretty literal in like the imagery and what's going on. So perhaps she was actually stabbed, or the dismembering of her is what took her life. And part of the reasoning, the Page of Pentacles in reverse, this shows me like missed opportunity, worried about something not coming to fruition in the way that you had hoped it was. So this tells me that there was something either about her or about another situation that didn't follow through or didn't go according to somebody's plan, and that is why this happened. So let's see. Tell me more about what didn't go according to plan, or like what didn't, yeah, tell me more about that, please. We have the Knight of Swords and the 4 of Pentacles. I'm going to pull one more. And we have the Fool card here. Okay, so there was something, Okay, so whoever took her life, the disappointment was there was like a bunch of ideas, a bunch of thoughts. Okay, swords can represent ideas, perception, understanding things, and then communication. And so the Knight of Swords, this can represent like a lot of ideas, acting on these ideas, like really just like getting things done. And then the 4 of Pentacles can represent like a feeling of like scarcity, or like not secure, not safe. Like look at him holding on to this. He's like, I have to hold on to it so I don't lose it. And then the Fool card over here is usually like some type of like optimism, like I'm just gonna go for it without a care in the world. So what I'm feeling here is that this is kind of telling me more, I feel like the missed opportunity was something that contributed to this person feeling secure, and all these fast thoughts and ideas were basically them realizing like, okay, whatever is not happening, that I hoped for. So now I'm not feeling safe. Now I'm not feeling secure. Now I'm not feeling like the foundation that I once thought I was going to have is like actually happening. And the Fool card, to me, this is telling me like, well, what do I have to lose? I already am losing everything that I could never imagine. So, okay, yeah, just from that last sentence that came through, what do I have to lose? Because I'm already losing everything I could ever imagine that I want for myself. This tells me that it is allegedly David. I was sitting with this for so long. I'll probably like cut out the silence, but I was sitting with this for so long because, you know, I was one, trying to not be biased because technically we don't know who. So I was trying to really like let my intuition speak to me and, you know, get an idea of like what could not be feeling safe. Like, is money involved? No, money was not involved, at least in like the direct death. Might be involved in other places though. We'll look at that in a minute. But yeah, this just overall feels like he felt like he was losing her and he didn't know what else to do besides take her life. Because what else did he have to lose? That was his life, was her. That's gross and really sad. Okay, let's see. We will address some of those like unanswered questions we have with my dowsing rods. The next thing that I'm going to do, okay, well, now that we have that, let's just kind of see if we can get some confirmation here. I'm going to pull a card for David, the actual murder itself, and the energy between them. Nine of Cups. The actual murder itself. Five of Swords in reverse. Energy between them. The Lovers. Whoa. Wow. Definitely, allegedly him. Allegedly, okay? But definitely. Horrible, crazy. So 9 of Cups over here. This is a wish come true. I feel like he really satisfied his sick, twisted desire dream of what he knew he inevitably was going to do. So that's disgusting. And then we have the 5 of Swords over here in reverse. This is like no longer being in conflict, no longer being in like this state of having to second guess your thoughts or feeling like you're fighting against something. And usually that type of fighting in this type of conflict is one that's like a little bit harsh. That's what I'm picking up on. And like the 5 of Swords, when it's in the upright, it can represent like a victory, but like at what cost? Like, were you being a bitch the whole time? So that's kind of what I'm meaning. Okay, so the murder itself, right? Again, swords coming up, and then the Lovers being the energy between them. I mean, that's just amplifying the sick, twisted, like reality of the situation that, you know, he did it because he was so obsessed with her. Because there was that sick love. It wasn't real love. It was evil, but you know what I mean. And not only that, I feel like he genuinely loved what he did. Like, I mean, this is such a like satisfied card. He feels satisfied in what he did. He actually loves what he did. So that's crazy. Okay, so let's get into, before we get more into David, let's get more into Celeste. I want to know her more of her like internal thoughts of like, I don't know, what she was thinking, what she was feeling, what she was doing. Okay, so here we have the 4 of Pentacles coming up again. So that also confirms for me that like that's confirmation that that was her. So she also didn't feel safe. And she knew that she wasn't safe with him. And she also knew that she felt like she couldn't leave because that's what was also keeping her safe. Does that make sense? Next, we have the Ace of Swords. So she did have a breakthrough. She definitely did understand the reality of the situation that she was in before she died. So that's also heartbreaking. All of it's always going to be heartbreaking, but just getting the information is a little tough. So she definitely knew, and I think part of that was thinking, how can I get out of this? And then next we have the Queen of Pentacles coming up. So Queen of Pentacles, especially in the reverse, represents also not feeling safe. It represents instability. It can also represent like a disorganization. So I feel like she was very, it almost feels like disorienting. There we go. Disorienting. Like, I feel like, again, she was on substances that I do believe he was probably supplying to her. I can ask that with the dowsing rods too. So that part feels disorienting, but also I think that she was just really starting to focus on like the reality of her situation and how like she was not at home. She had ran away from home and all of that. So yeah. Okay, I'm just going to pull some more cards. Let's see what else is coming up for how she was feeling, what she was thinking. We have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Next, the Three of Wands in reverse. Let's do one more. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, this talks about like it's finally happening, no longer having to wait around for like the thing to happen. And with the Three of Wands over here, this is like, I'm not moving forward in that direction. Remember, this came up for David wanting that long-term commitment with her, looking at the next chapter. I felt like she was thinking like, okay, like, yes, I am realizing what's going on. I definitely feel like she was having these ideas of like, well, maybe this is how I can get out. Maybe, you know, I don't have to stay committed long term. Maybe I can stop thinking about that future and focus on a different future. But unfortunately, we have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse coming up here. So I think this was just something that she could not fully follow through with. I think she was nervous and like scared to do so. And I think she also didn't know how, especially being gone from home for so long. It just really feels like she would get the burst of being like, okay, like I'm going to figure something out. I'm going to go, I'm not going to be in this situation. And then feeling like, but that sounds really scary and I don't know how to do it. And I don't know what's going to happen to me if I try and leave. So it's almost like a lack of motivation and the inability to like follow through with that. Oh, that hurts my heart. Okay, so I want to know what was going on in the time she was missing. What was going on before her death when she was missing? Pretty, you know, certain that she was with David. Like, there's video evidence of it. She was on his live streams. But I want to know, like, can you just give me a little bit of, like, imagery of the story? Again, the Four of Pentacles of what was going on that entire time. She was definitely being abused. She was definitely being manipulated and abused and not able to like live obviously out the childhood that she was meant to. And I think he was kind of like using that against her. It almost feels like, it really feels like he would talk to her in a way where it's like, you know, if you left, like, what would you even do? Like, it's not like anybody would want to be your friend. Like, one, you were gone for so long. Two, like, you're like this is going to be so specific. I'm so sorry. I am not saying this about her, but this is just like coming through so strong. But I really feel like he insulted her, calling her like a whore and other things, implying that nobody's going to want to like be with her. Nobody else is going to want to talk with her because everything that she's been through with him is like, that's ruined her. That's really what it feels like. I feel like he used her experience with him because he had groomed her for so long as a way to control and manipulate her to where, and I think that's why earlier when I said she felt unsafe with him, but also she felt like that was the safe option because I believe he really made her feel in multiple ways that it would be unsafe to leave him. And I think this is something that just continuously went on. And like okay, it's so interesting because in these true crime readings that I do, the cards will sometimes just read completely different than in like regular readings that I do. So normally this card is a card of like putting the thoughts up on the wall, like giving it a rest, you know, trying to, you know, like work through some stuff and not overthink things. But to me right now, these are his words. These are his ideas and his communication to it. And it feels like he's holding it up to her throat. Like that was the immediate feeling that I was getting of like that threatening feeling. Like, I don't think that's what he actually did, but it feels like he was threatening and manipulating with his words, his language. And with this laying down here, it almost feels like, okay, like I'm just gonna take it. Like, what else do I have? Like, what else can I do? She can't go home. She doesn't feel like she can go home, at least. So, wow, okay. Anything else you can tell us about the dynamic going on there? I wasn't sure if he was maybe like, yeah, just mistreating her, holding her hostage, or if he was like trafficking her, or like, I don't know. Is there anything else that you can tell me about the time that she spent with him while she was missing? Queen of Pentacles. Knight of Swords again. King of Swords. Okay, so yeah, I definitely think that she had expressed sometimes the way that she was feeling, and one that got like crazy reactions, and that led to like big fights, and that also led to more manipulation. But it also led to I'm definitely feeling love bombing. Like I feel like it's just all the different emotions like rolling in one. Definitely super toxic environment. Another thing with the Queen of Pentacles coming up here is I feel like and again, like, you know, her having such a light energy, like I feel like she somehow was still really trying to like, even though she knew she didn't want to be there and that she wanted something better for herself, that I feel like she still in some ways really tried to like be good. That makes sense. Okay, now we're going to look into David a little bit more. I would like to know, what is he currently thinking? What is going through his mind? Oh, Five of Cups. So first of all, he's thinking about his losses, right? Which is Celeste. But also he's looking at all the spots that he messed up and has failed and left behind evidence. And he's like, oh, shit. So he's focused. He's really in his head. He's thinking about all the potential areas that he maybe messed up in. We next have the Ten of Swords. So I feel like he's angry. I feel like he feels betrayed. Interesting. Interesting. Why could he feel betrayed? What is he angry about? The Hermit in reverse. So he's definitely isolating. Okay, one, I think he feels like he betrayed himself. And I feel like that because I think he's like, crap, like, how did I do this in this way? Like, I feel like he's feeling so woe is me. Does that make sense? And I think he's gonna try and keep all this internally into himself. He's been very vocal about all the messed up things that he's been like, you know, being with a minor, kind of crazy. And also his lyrics are a little wild. So he's been very vocal about that. But I feel like he's really gonna try and like play it cool, and through that, that's like isolating his true feelings and emotions. But right now he's focusing on all the areas he's messed up, and he feels really angry by it. Okay, so I want to just touch more on this like betrayal card, like his anger. Can you tell me more about what this is directed at? Is it just himself? Is it some other things? He's reliving all the experiences and emotions that he had with her that made him angry, that made him do it. So I think that's also why he's so focused on the loss of her, because he's still mad. The Five of Wands in reverse, yeah, but there's no longer that actual battle that he is having to fight. So there is some like contentment in that. So I think he's also, it just feels like so back and forth, like, okay, now I'm really angry. Now I'm like, okay again and actually feeling good, but now I'm actually kind of sad. Like it just feels crazy. The Justice card in reverse, I definitely think he's worried about being caught. He is so worried about how that's going to work out. That's definitely on his mind. So that's also what's making him go back and forth, is because I think he is trying to get some kind of closure within himself to make himself feel like what he did had like a good reason and a purpose. So morally he can live with himself even though he's actually a monster. Does that make sense? So I feel like that's going on there. And I just feel like he's really anxious about kind of what's to come. Okay, time for dowsing rods. Okay, so let's get started with dowsing rod questions. So really quick, I'm just gonna re-cleanse. Before Celeste's death, was she aware? Did she have that breakthrough moment of the fact that her situation was not ideal? Yes. Is this the reason that this triggered David's anger and why he took her life? Yes. Thank you. So are you confirming, cross for yes, move apart for no, that David did indeed allegedly end Celeste's life? Yes. Thank you. So that leads me to my next question, which is unfortunately a gruesome question, but it just came through so strong. First of all, can you give me an answer on her cause of death? Is that something you can do? Yes, thank you. Okay. Did she actually pass away because he dismembered her? Cross for yes, move apart for no. No. Okay. Thank goodness. So did he end her life first, and then did he dismember her after she was already passed away? Yes. Okay, thank you. Did he end her life with some type of knife or sharp object? Yes, thank you. Okay, so we all kind of know this one, but just asking so we can for sure know. So in the time frame that Celeste was missing, just noted as a missing person, was she with David during that time? Cross for yes, move apart for no. Yes, thank you. Did David ever try and manipulate Celeste by telling her that nobody else was going to love her if she left him? Yes, thank you. Did he ever mention the idea of having a baby with her? Yes, thank you. Was Celeste pregnant at the time of her death? No, thank you. Did anybody think she might have been pregnant at the time of her death? No, thank you. In one of David's songs, he talks about ending a girl's life and not regretting it and hating her. Did that at that time represent true fantasies that he had? Yes, thank you. Did he always have an inkling that he was one day going to take Celeste's life? No, thank you. Did he think that one day he was going to end somebody's life in general? Yes. So has David always had some sick desire to murder? Yes. Now, David and Celeste both had tattoos that said shh on their finger. Is this due to their inappropriate dynamic of him being an adult and her being a minor? Yes, thank you. Now, would this be the same for the other celebrities that have that tattoo as well? Yes, thank you. That's sad, but not surprising. Out of the items that they took out of David's house, are they going to find any evidence that shows any abuse of Celeste? Yes, thank you. Now, they said she was around like 71 pounds or something like that when they found her. Of course, she was dismembered, so I don't know if that changes anything, but what I'm getting to is, was she malnourished at all? Was she not eating in the way that she should have been? Yes. Was this due to drugs? Yes. Did David regularly supply Celeste with drugs? Yes, thank you. Was this part of why she felt like she couldn't leave because she was addicted? Yes. Did David know that was going to happen and that's why he did that? Yes, thank you. Did David really not think he was going to be caught with her body in his car while he was on tour? What an idiot. Yes. Thank goodness these monsters are idiots because that allows them to be caught. Next is, I want to know about her family. So she was like missing for a long time. Did her family know that she was with David the entire time she was missing? Yes. Were they unbothered by their minor daughter, quote unquote, dating a grown man? Like some of them didn't care, some of them kind of cared. Okay. Is there any particular reason why they didn't seek out bringing her home more than they did? That's my dog. Is there any particular reason why they didn't go out and try really hard to bring her home? Nope. Was David giving her family money in any form in order to keep them quiet about where Celeste was? No, thank you. Was Celeste murdered in the home of David? Yes. Is there going to be any evidence that the police force has found in their raid of the house that suggests he ended her life there? Yes. At this point in time, is David going to be prosecuted as the person who ended Celeste's life? Is that a question that you cannot answer? Yes. Okay. That's okay. Okay, well, at this point in time, I can't really think of any more questions. I feel like that was a pretty solid reading through the cards and the dowsing rods. Let me know if there's any questions I didn't ask that you guys might all have, or if there's any other cases you want me to visit. But just another reminder, please hit the like and subscribe and leave a comment. It means the world to me, and I love to hear what you all have to say. I will see you later. Bye.